Hello friends, I'm Colonel Failure, and as you know, I like to keep an air of mystery about what's about to happen in the episode using this opening shot that we're doing here. And yeah, you're going to have, I'm going to leave you flummoxed. You're going to have very little idea as to what today's plan is, if it weren't for the fact that we were sailing alongside a bit of rail track and we just saw a train go past. Yeah, we hadn't built those yet though, had we? No. So evidently, that's what we're doing today. Oh, spoilers. Well, we pick up the action here in 1953 by following along one of the brand new passenger lines that we've got running, and well, it's doing quite nicely. We'll have a quick look at the money in a moment, but I thought we'd just enjoy this somewhat desolate, well, it's not even desolate, it's just dry, a little bit arid, I think is the best way to describe it. And this is a dirt road. What's going on? Why is this a dirt road? Why have I not upgraded this yet? As you can see, this particular route has made 28,000 this year. It will do quite nicely as it continues on. In fact, this is quite nice. Bust through the desert. Super. Just got to turn these off, and then we'll get on with today's thrilling narrative. I'm very tempted. I'm going to make it happen. I want this. I want some of that. Magic wand, activate. Oops. Always look before you click. You had 2.7 million. You haven't got 2.7 million anymore. You've got quite a bit less than that. Oh dear. Yeah, and it's because you converted town road into in a flipping country road. Oh, you idiot. Especially while you're trying to save money to build something, you know, excessive and train-like. Right, put that in and then re-upgrade that back to this. Okay, and maybe they'll move back in and forgive you. Maybe they won't. Right, okay, onwards, friends. So, yeah, a quick look at the runners and riders that we have so far. Here's all the routes. Every single one of them is printing a little bit of cash. It's not printing very much cash. It's, well, look, the Vegas Food Production East is doing the best part of $1 million per year. Or, well, I say per year, per time period. I stick in each year just a little bit longer than an actual year. Probably about 2 or 3 years in total in each region that we run, and then we move on to the next one. So it's not a completely fair, you know, I haven't played only 3 years of game at this point. I've probably played closer to about 10. But there you go. That's I mean, that's a limitation we got. But even so, doing 950 grand per time period is pretty respectable. If we have a quick look at this, you'll see where we kind of wrapped up, because those are my spending areas going on. It's all right. Yeah, it's pretty good. In fact, we just wrapped one up, literally just wrapped one up. We have no loan and 2 million quid in the bank, and we're building something trainwood. Okay then. Now, where shall we begin this odyssey? Because I don't want to build something that is subsequently bulldozed or removed. Now, Hollywood is relatively close to the kind of route that we want to take. But as mentioned last time, something that actually swerves up the hill here and then stays in this flat area. I'd say flat. It's about as flat as you're going to get. So we could do a Hollywood Lafayette to a hookup with Sunnyvale and Irving on a kind of passenger approach. Well, that could work quite nicely. Also, there is really easy money to be made here by this coal and ore mine just making steel. Now, I mean, the benefit of the revised goods system is that I don't need an end supply point for it. It will just continually absorb all of that stuff until it's bored. Okay, well, I mean, there's a possibility there. Right, I'm going to go from Hollywood down to as far as I can afford. I'm going to go for Irving if we can make it that far, and we'll see how we go. We're studiously ignoring the other side of the canyon at the moment, although, you know, Oceanside to Charlotte looks like it's easy. I don't even... well, you've got a bit of an uphill. Yeah. Well, you've got Fullerton next door as well. Maybe we do that instead. Listen, Sunshine, it really doesn't matter which one you do. Just make a decision and do it. Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, this is early days, right? So it's worth doing something that is not going to ruin you. All right, give me a price check. High-speed track, because we don't have to pay for it again. Catenary, no, we're not using it. Zoom into build. I've zoomed in. Zoom into build. Oh, crikey. Okay, so if we were to go along the top of this lump, that's a really awful place to put it. All right, if we were to go down the bottom of this lump here, now obviously we'll swerve it around some in order to get, you know, a reasonable level of pricing going on. 6.6 million. All right, that's the straight line approach. We obviously wouldn't do a straight line. We'd wiggle a little bit in order to try and keep prices down. And because it will look more attractive. We're going to aim for an attractive line as much as anything else. So 6.5 million for that one. All right, okay, fine. Talk to me Oceanside Fullerton. Zoom into build. A lot. Okay, this is about the same length, but I think the terrain is going to be just a little more forgiving. 6.8 million. Well, yeah, but it's stuck a big old tunnel in there at the end, and I think we might be able to bypass that. Okay, you're right. All right, any more runners and rider candidates in the offing before I commit to something? Well, look, you've got Irving here. Yeah. Where would you go with that? Birmingham. Or, yeah, Abilene to Fullerton. Yes. Okay, all right. Well, let's price them up. Now, this one actually looks like it is almost flat. So if we just do that. 2 million, 3 million. That looks pretty easy, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It does actually look like that might be a very viable route. We've got Huntsville, Washington. It's not quite as long and therefore not going to make as much money. Have a quick look at Abilene, Fullerton. Now, this really isn't as long and therefore not going to make as much money. Yeah, that's 2 and a bit million as well. So that's a slightly more aggressive route as well in terms of terrain working. Right, we're going to go Birmingham. Irving, Berlin is where we're going to go. Yeah, I know. Right, now the question becomes, what line do you want to take here? So if we're going to do what I initially implied there, which is go up on this side of the bank. Now, I think the landscape there is too rough to make that potentially viable in the future. Going this way, it gives us a lot of kind of goodsy stops off here, and therefore that might be the way to go. Because whichever way we decide to go, it directly affects where I plunk the station. So if I put it here, obviously facing that way. Now, see, this is where I've not thought this through. Not really. Oh, just here. Shh. Right, we're going to go 240. No, we're not. We're not going to go 240. We're going to go high-speed track. We're not going to electrify. We're going to... Well, I mean, give me a price check on this. Best part of £1 million. Yeah. All right, now, we'll have to bulldoze through that, and we'll have to expand this station to take on goods as well. But by doing 240 to start with, at least gives me the option. Well, it means that I don't have to build something bigger later on. Now, we can wiggle around, of course, which would mean that we could build here and then blat straight through the town centre. Yeah. Or we could go all the way over here. Now, this is cheaper. All right, hold on. This is cheaper is a very good excuse. So we could go like that. Okay, yeah, and then wind back from the cliff edge afterwards. Yeah, I mean, it's at least 200 grand cheaper. Let's take it. All right, done. And then we're heading down to Birmingham. Now then, which is the happier side of Birmingham? It genuinely doesn't matter, because the costs are all going to be incurred later once we start building more connections. And that just seems to lend itself towards what we're trying to do here. So that's going to be it. Now, we're going to need internal commuter lines. I'm comfortable with this. That's absolutely fine. So yeah, we'll run with that. Now, let's try and do something track-wise that makes the most of the landscape. So if we do that as our first jaunt, then you've got a tunnel that starts there, and is liable to continue until probably here. No, it's only there. And it comes out, and then goes in, and then comes out. So this is the straight line approach. Let's have a look and see what it's done. I don't really want to take a straight line approach. We want to keep it relatively straight so that we can have max speed running down there, because it's going to be the connections that make this interesting to look at more than it is the path. Well, yeah, the path it takes is kind of half the mission. The bit that gets that gets bums on seats is going to be the connectivity that it has and the level of interest that each station provides. Well, now, the part of me that likes things cheeky goes, cheeky tunnel, cheeky tunnel, cheeky tunnel. Yeah, cheeky tunnel. One's cup runneth over for such things. Yeah. Now, this is obviously the passenger main line that we're doing here. Now, later on, the question will become, do we just run the freight main line in parallel with what we've built for passengers, or the alternative approach is do we give the freight line a slightly different path that maybe wiggles above and below ground and so forth. Now, this is obviously also, because it's worth taking the time to think about these things, because I rarely do. And while in this series, my aim is going to be, one or two routes at most per game, per episode. But, make those routes as interesting as possible. All right, so if we were to try and duck that second tunnel, which route would you take? Well, you'd build a bit of a bridge over here and go around that way before swooping back in again. You see, that's a slightly more interesting line. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, we'll go with the slightly more interesting line. Are we hooked up here? We are hooked up. All right, off we go. Let's get this done. I've got 2.6 million in the bank. That should be more than enough to carry us to our destination. Now, remember, we're not going to be using any electrics on this, and therefore super high speed rail sections, they're really not going to be necessary. The Alco is available to us now, I believe. That's the Alco PAPB. And I'll be more than happy to make use of that. I mean, it's a classic, obviously, but it's also pretty fast, which is of benefit. Now, we've got a bit of a gouge going on there. How do we feel about that? I think we should just head upwards ever so slightly. See, cheeky tunnel, cheeky bridge, cheeky gouge. Yeah, I think if we head uphill ever so gently, so like that, we can avoid gouging quite so egregiously. All right. Well, you don't want your grades too severe. No, that's fine. And then you get a little bit of an embankment there. That's okay. All right, keep going. Yeah, this is all right. This is okay. What if I were to, I don't know, push that button? Yeah, no, uphill just a touch to about there. Yeah, okay. Because we want it, rather than having to gouge through the land, and obviously the land is not going to do me any favours at any point here. But rather than that, if we can keep it interesting looking, then so much the better. Go as far as here, yeah. I assume I've left enough space to get past. You assume correctly. All right, good. Now, quite a bit of bridge over this next bit, if we need to, because that looks like an indentation of some sort. Right, now, just double check which side of the track you are playing with here. Interesting. I thought you went the other way. Does that mean I can't double track this bit? Actually, this bit is a good example of where the freight line might diverge, right? So maybe the freight line comes in and merges in with the passenger line briefly, or maybe it goes round the other side, see, before swooping back in to become part of the same agenda. The one thing that will be happening in almost every case is that where I've got a mainline passenger station, we'll also have a mainline freight station. More often than not, just to do deliveries to that particular town. But we'll see. Right, okay, that's locked in. Okay, right. I quite like this as a first swing. We'll see how we get on, but as a first foray, this isn't bad. I'm going to double track immediately. Anytime I can afford to do so, I'm going to do just that. And frankly, I can afford to do so, so I'm going to do just that. And then grab this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. Now, we're going to need diamond crossings at both ends. Or are we? Are we going to run 2 trains or 1? 1 to start with. We might then up that to 2 later on. Well, you're still going to want to get the passenger, the correct side of the track employed, right? Yeah, okay. All right, so if we do that, now the shorter the diamond, the more likely it is to work regardless of track conditions. Now, the other thing to bear in mind here is going to be that each station approach is unlikely to need 2 tracks only. It is going to need more than that as time goes on, because we'll add extra platforms for extra town connections. You know, we might, for example, it would be incredibly expensive, but we might choose to make a spur over here to Huntsville. Could happen, right? It's the right kind of location for it. I mean, it could go either way. But then we'd want it would probably be a little shuttle service that we run between the two. I am going to very much try and not cannibalize whatever mainline service it is that I end up running in this series. Try is the word, yes. And the word is try. Okay, so we kept it nice and short the other end. Keep it nice and short this end. Now, again, I'm not too fussed about emissions. They either will or won't affect things adversely, but the main thing to bear in mind is that in this series, everyone should be fairly happy because they're going to be getting a heck of a lot of goods, or I think they are. Exactly what happens with those goods remains to be seen. But there is every chance that most towns will get at least one goods type being delivered to them, and that should that should offset any kind of negative impact of emissions that go into things. Totally speculative, of course. I got no idea how this is going to pan out until we start panning it. Right, 1, 2, Irving, Berlin. Right. Look, it is Irving, Birmingham, obviously. But there you go. Right, so this is going to be Maine. Yeah, for mainline, obviously. Irving. Yeah. What have we gone there? Inving. That's not a word. Irving, Birmingham. Right, now I'm using Maine to be the mainline, obviously, right? Yeah, that's pretty sensible. Yeah, okay. Don't really need to do anything more than that. I do need to stick some signals on, just so that we set a precedent with regard to which side of the track people are allowed to drive on. So we'll put one here. Yeah. And is that it? Yeah, that'll do. No, it won't. Right, we'll stick a set on there. Now, these are not one-way. I will only need one set of one-way signals at some point on the main line, and it should do all the work for me. Because whatever trains we run down here, it is going to... or is it? Do we run overlapping services? Or do we run from one end of the map to the other? I think overlapping services is going to make me more money. Yeah, I think so too. All right, there we go. How do we feel about that now? See, that's gone, oh, okay, I'll do it. Yeah, darn tootin' you will. Right, grab this. Thank you. Purchase a train. I've got 2.8 million. Is that enough? Science pointer unlikely. Right, diesels. We got the Zephyr, which stinks. No, I'm sorry. Sorry, Zephyr fans. It looks beautiful, but, you know, it's a tough one to make any money out of. The PAPB, so you want the power booster, really, to keep the speed as crispy as possible. And that is 13 million quid. Oh. Yeah. Do you want to revise your scheme here? Because we've got the loan available, so I could get 13 million quid. That's not going to afford me any flipping wagons, though, is it? No, it's not. Right, so I think we will go for a double bill of these. So you've got a capacity of 40, and then look to replace it later on. We could go steam, of course. Well, yeah. The big boy, which hopefully we'll get to a point where we can start thinking big boy by the time it's, well, before it becomes made redundant. Mikado, class 9000. I don't think any of these have got the grunt. The Hiawatha has, but the Hiawatha is another one that ends up costing me a ruddy fortune in running costs. No, and that's 11 million quid. All right, okay, fine. We're going to go with the M300. And we'll slap two of them together to get 40 capacity, and I'm going to buy two of them. Yeah? So we will need to interface with the loan. Take out a bunch. I'll pay it back in a moment. Oh, actually, I've got quite a lot of loan available. How much have we got available? How much have I got available? Is it 50 million? All right, well, you don't need to borrow any more than that. All right. Okay. Perhaps hit the pause button? Yeah. The reason for hitting the pause button, obviously enough, is that if I don't, I bought three of them. I felt like it. Stick them all on that. Yeah, shouldn't have done that. No, I shouldn't. No, what I should have done is waited. Yeah. Okay, well, pay all that back. I paused so I didn't pay interest unnecessarily. Oh, that's a nice sound to be playing repeatedly. Yeah, let's do some more. Right, 360, thank you. 360 grand left. I need to stick a commuter line in at both ends. Right, let's set them in motion, because the sooner you do so, the sooner they come to fruition. And then let's talk passenger lines of an in-town nature. Now, as is my want, I'm going to see if we can't get a full-on bus station here. We can make it a bit skinnier. There we go. All right, now, do you fancy living here? Yes. Yeah, all right. Okay, yeah, we can park that there. Have you got a tendril? You do have a tendril. That's good. All of this is going to need to be revised later on. Yeah. All right, stick that in there. All right, and then give us a bus tram stop or two. Now, I think we're going to want one out here. Yes. Yeah, that feels... well, you could go one further. It depends how the town expands, of course. Yeah, we'll do that. Yep, I'm sticking with my figure eights. They've always done me well in the past, and they should continue to do so. There we are. We'll do that. New line. Right. So we'll go 1, yeah, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. Right, so it's a figure eight with the Upper Birmingham there being the kind of the centre point of the 8. Yeah, it makes sense. It works. It's pretty good. It's just lazy, but it means that you can get away with not having to do too much. What are you? Trains. I want buses. There we go. So this is going to be Birm, I suppose. Yeah. All right. BIR. That's an M. Oh, yeah. BIRM. Yeah. And you are... Have we set commuter in place already? No, intercity you've got. So this is going to be commuter. There you go. I'm quite pleased with the way that I'm managing to stick to an actual naming convention for the time being. Later on, I don't know, we'll probably throw it out a window and I'll start naming things. The Wackiness Express. Yay. And you're going, no, stop it. No, you should shut yourself down now. Right, we'll stick this all the way out here because it doesn't need to be any closer. And what are you going to buy? 2? Yeah. Buy vehicles. And Kia and the twin coach, I think will do the job. 2 of them. Yep. Can I afford it? Yep. Peachy. Right, go Birm commuter. Off your trots. And then hopefully by the time I've done the other end, I'll have enough to make that work. Right, there's my first M300s. Empty, obviously, but that's fine. No one really knows they exist yet, and no one can fathom why they would want to visit Irving when they live in Birmingham. Although that said, we've got people waiting for the buses. That's good, and I might just sling in a little bit of road here if it will let me. It will let you, but you'll need some money first. All right, I'll take $1 million, please. Just to do my usual encouragement of the city services. to move into a place that I would find convenient later on. Now, a bit of flattening is going to be required because, I mean, look at that. That's ridiculous. So once it comes time to add the freight route on here, theoretically speaking, we should have the cash available to do a little bit of geoscaping at the same time, which is obviously a thing, and therefore, actually, these have spaced themselves out quite nicely. Yeah, that's not too bad at all. That one will get into the other station at the same point this one gets into the first one. Okay, good. Yeah, that's fine. Now then, with this one, I'm going to extend my commuter route to Sunnyvale as well, so that we ramp up the amount of demand that we get early on. And whether or not it delivers is another question. But I think it's a, you know what? I'd quite like to slap that right in the middle here. Then do so. All right. And then a bit of street. Yeah, because I think these two towns are going to merge without any kind of, with very little effort required on your part. There you go. How about that? That's pretty solid. Now, obviously, we don't want them to merge too much because we've got to bring some rail out here pretty soon, I would imagine. But for now, that will probably suffice. Right, buildings, bus and tram stops. Now, town centre would look like a good one, wouldn't it? Yeah, but it wouldn't. Okay, all right. We'll go go out here. Yeah, and then stick one there. Really? Well, I'm thinking about when we come back in. There. That covers a little bit of town centre. No. We'll go here. All right, okay, and then out to Sunnyvale, where we'll just stick one right in the middle of the business, and we'll just allow it to be awful to start with. Right, new line. Here we go. So 1, yeah, 2, yeah, 3, yeah, 4. And the good news on this is because it's a loop, we don't need to do any figure 8 business. There we go. Cool. Okay, so I think we're going to call this one an intercity, but this is Irving, so Irvin. I'm not keen on it either. Intercity. Intercity to whatever's next. Sunnyvale. Right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. 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 Sure. No. But. Okay. Right. Now then, let's bang a depot on here. Let's put some bus on that as well, and then we're all set. Now the question will obviously become, is it going to work? And the answer is going to be, yeah, if you give it enough time, it will definitely work if you give it a little while. But you're going to need to give it a little while. Right, buy vehicles. We're going to go with 4. Are we? 3. All right, 3 seems very much more reasonable. All right, Intercity, Irvin. There you go. So this is I've less. Well, actually, Sunnyvale I think has just been assimilated into the Irvin district. So there's. Yeah, sorry about that. You had the chance to be your own man, but that's not happened. Right, talk to me. None. That's not what I wanted to hear. I'll be honest with you. How about you? 1. All right, good enough. Because we can just multiply whatever it is you earn here by 40. And then we will know how much money we can potentially make later on when people start getting their act together and decide to go to other places. Right, here we go. Brace yourselves. I mean, 10 grand would be pretty good. Right, what are we getting? That was 11,500. So 11,600. Which means that a full load out of this is going to do just shy of 50,000. Or in the vicinity of 50,000. That's pretty good. No, sorry, in the vicinity of 500,000. No. Do your maths. Yeah, 500,000. Flipping heck, yeah, it's a big earner. If you can fill it, which at the moment you can't. But eventually you will. All right, good. That's going to wrap it up. Yeah, well, we're done for today. I am 9 million in debt, which I wasn't when we started out. I spent 12 million quid last year. That's a lot for what is quite a tiddly little train route. I think I went to 3 trains too quickly, I think you're just not holding your nerve. No, I think I went there too quickly. I think we should probably sell one. Okay, well, sell the one that's in the middle. Which one's that? This one. Is it? No, it's that one. That one's in the middle. Okay, sell it. Yeah. Train 1 is the first train to be sold. Crikey. No prisoners being taken. Mainline train 1, yeah, sell it. Yep. Right. See, that way we haven't wiped too much value off it, and they are passing at the midway point. Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, we'll buy it back again quite quickly, but staying relatively sane in the expenditure department is the smart thing to do at this point. Right, where's going to be the most scenic way to go? I tell you what's pretty scenic. Let's ride on board. There we go. Right, I've been Colonel Failure. Thank you very much for watching. Next time around, well, I think I can probably afford another passenger section, or another mainline section at least. And I think that the smart move is going to be to extend this line. What I've always observed in the past is if you put 2 cities connected together, not a lot happens. If you do 3, however, things start kicking into high gear. And high gear is where we want to be. So tune in for that, and I'll catch up with you very soon. I leave you riding on board this felony lad. Is there a... Let's not look at him. No, I was about to ask whether there is a more interesting thing we could look at, and I think we are looking at it. Right, I'll catch up with you soon. Thanks very much for watching. Cheerio. Why am I sat all the way back over here? I like to keep things fresh, keep you guessing. Once in a while, I like to sit in a different part of the room. So here I am, different part of the room. It's actually the same part. I'm just 5 feet back from where I usually am. With my microphone stand in the position it's in here, it does not feel like I need a guitar and maybe do some kind of folk song for you or some such. I'm not going to do that. No. 2 reasons. 1, I don't have a guitar. No, I've got a mandolin. I ain't got a guitar. So 2, yeah, I'm not all that folky. It has to be said. Anyway, there you go. There's some trains. Good. That's a proper summary of today's episode for you. Right. If you wanted more than that, boy, did you ever come to the wrong place.